Hello, in this video I'd like to cover some use cases for Flexbox. Okay, so we're starting totally from scratch here. We're going to make a top nav, a side nav, a testimonial, and a centered element. I have a bunch of empty folders here, so I'm going to add an index.html and a style CSS. All right, and then we'll set up my default HTML here. So if you put in an exclamation point, that fills in the default properties. And we are going to add a link relationship is style sheet and href. That, this, stick it over here, and over. Okay, so first one, top nav. Let's call this top nav. It's up a little. Here we'll start our live server. Here, and we're starting with top nav. Okay, so first thing is in our body, we will just make sure things are working. Say hello world. Okay, so far so good. The next thing, we're going to make a tag, and we're going to call this header. We haven't covered the HTML5 tags yet, but when we can give our elements some syntax, we should do it. So in our header, we're going to have title and a title. This be our title, and this be our nav. And in our nav, we'll have some divs. Alt. And in each of these divs, we'll have anchor. And this will be, the first one will be work, about, placeholder. Same thing. They don't actually go anywhere, but at least they're live links. Okay, so what we're trying to do is a top nav. So first thing we're going to do is reset our styles. So for that, we will say margin 0, padding 0, and sizing is border box. Then we'll add some default type sizes here. So body, font family, okay. And then we will add a class to this. So class header. This will be class title. This will be close. Okay, so let's see here. Let's say our header border will be 2 pixels solid. That's so we can see what we're doing. We will do the same thing on our nav. And title. Okay. So this is about Flexbox. So in our header, we'll do display flex, which puts the 2 items side by side. And we will say justify content to space between. And now we have the title on one side and our links on the other. We're also going to add a margin of 0 and 90%. We can get fancier with this, but fine for now. Oops. A margin, of 0 and auto, and we will say auto, and we will say our max width is auto. So now it has space around it. Okie dokie, we don't want these stacked, so we can do the same thing on here. We can add a gap. Pixels. We can say align items center, and we can do the same thing to this. We can also say text decoration none. Actually, we're going to put this here. A. In our utility classes. And we can even be a little bit. So this is reset global and okay, let's see what else. And then and maybe instead of hello world, it's first title. We can a little smaller. And we'll say text form. And we'll, we're pretty much done, but get a little nicer here. Letter spacing. Because when there's caps, it's good to stretch it out a little bit. And then maybe we'll just add a hover. And now we have, oops, sorry, over here, hover, color. Orange. Great. And then last but not least, we can get rid of our diagnostic stuff. Now we have a simple top nav. And actually, you know what? Let's do one other thing. So let's say, do a little bit of top margin. Okay. Great. Next, let's make a side nav. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to our inspector, grab all this, copy it, put it here, and then we'll grab all our styles and put them over here. And I'm going to close everything. Lose track of what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to open side nav and CSS. We'll collapse this and we'll start our live preview again. Put our style down here and we'll go to our side nav, which is where our top nav started. So if we want to do a side nav, we can kind of start with what we got, and then we can go to our main axis in our header and change it to column. So flex direction of column. Now it's working, but it's just conforming to the size of the element. So our header, we want to set our minimum height to be 100 view height. So the height of our website here. And we will we'll get rid of the max height, max width. Make this a little more. And this we can actually, let's open this in an actual browser to see what. Here we go. Okay, so it's going to the top and the bottom. And so maybe actually instead of margin, let's do padding top 20 pixels. Padding bottom 30. Okay, and maybe we can add some stuff here. So maybe we'll add a div. And we'll say, see, there we go. Copyright symbol 2024. We can make site title perhaps a little bigger. And our nav items probably don't that, and we don't that, because we do want them to stack on. So see what's going on here. Be class here and dot here. See what's going on. Okay, not too bad here. We could also go back and say our max width is 250 pixels. Fill this in, and we could say heading left of. Okay, so now we have a side nav, and this doesn't necessarily deal with what we're going to do over here. I have to think that through a little bit, but it is fine for now. Okay, next up is a testimonial. So for that, once again, I will close this and this. Go to our Explorer, open this one, close our live server. Start our live server up again. Testimonials. Dial over here. Okay, so testimonial. Okay, so we're going to need a section. In that section, we're going to need 3 divs. We will add a class to our section. section underscore testimonial. We'll add some stuff to our divs. So in each div, we'll add an h2 and we'll call it item 1. And then each of these, also add paragraph, and we'll add lorem 5 for now. Okie dokie. To the view. Cool. Okay, so first up, once again, let's reset everything. So padding 0, margin 0, border. Sorry, box sizing, border box. Save. And then our body. Okay. So let's see here. Next, we will start styling our section. And we'll say border 2 pixels solid. Okay. Then in each of these divs, we'll add a class. Testimonial item. Add that to each of these. Okay. And play flex. And we'll make gap 12 pixels. And in our testimonials, we'll say border radius of nice. And we'll actually use this. We'll make this black, and 2 pixels is fine. And then we'll add some margin pixels. Sorry. Padding. Interior. Padding of 24 pixels. And then in our H2, set padding bottom 12 pixels. And in our P, we'll do the same thing. And maybe our too big. That. And change the names of this and that. And, you know, I can nitpick this forever, but just to show some common layouts. How about my... Let's make this max width of 90%. And margin of 0. All right. So that's another one. And then my last one, let's save this, save that. Go to our centered element. Add a preview, centered element, style over here. Things are working. It's working. We'll call this site title. Put it in a section. In my section, make a div. Make a class on my section called section full screen. Which one here? Save. And then this will div a class centered title. Okay. And then just like the others, margin, padding. Okay, and then for my eyeball. Okay, so let's see here. Let's start by giving this a height, or a min height, sorry, min of 100 pH. And let's add a background image. Okay, I'll set a background color just to see how things are behaving. Great, and then we'll do a background image, URL. Awesome. And then background size, cover, and background position to center. All right, so now our background's working, and we'll set this to flex. Sorry, display flex. Justify content center, align items center, and we'll make our centered title div. Give it margin of 25 pixels, a border of 2 pixel solid white, and a color of white. And I named this wrong. So fix that. It's not working. Whoopsie. Here we go. There we go. Okay, and this is like great for like a splash page or something like that. All right, that was a lot.